Okay, I got one last story for you. I've been kind of holding off to this one for a while. I've been wanting to do it. It's been on my sheet every single day. That I've been doing it this week every single day. I've been wanting to do this story, and we're doing it. God damn it! So, a couple nights ago, everybody know the show 60 Minutes. 60 Minutes been around for a long ass time. It is a program on CBS, and it has the clock that goes tick 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 tick. Everybody knows it. Mike Wallace used to work on that damn thing. 60 Minutes has been in the biz for a long time. They got a lot of credibility until recently. Scott Pelley, one of the host on 60 Minutes, he gives a wrap up of the show where he talks for a couple of minutes about what's going on at the network. And like I said, 60 Minutes is part of CBS, and he says our main producer, his name is Bill Owens, has just resigned. And Bill Owens says that he's resigned because he has lost his journalistic independence, which is really important to a journalist. You want to make sure that you're able to put out the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth up. God, I know that's in the court, but that's ultimately what a real journalist wants to do. They want to get out the truth. And they don't want it to be biased by the powers that be, or having to kiss somebody's ass to get them to come and talk to you, access journalism style, just real journalistic independence. And Bill Owens feels like that he had to quit because he was losing. And this is why. The parent company for CBS is Paramount. And Paramount, their top shareholder, and, the board, Paramount is trying to do a merger with this Hollywood company called Skydance. You've probably seen it at the beginning of some movies. They have like this little logo, Skydance. And they are trying to facilitate a merger, or, where the shareholders get a big, huge payout. This is like big money for the top guys. It's so big money. It's like, when you first release your company on the stock market, and then you just know that immediately the executives are getting paid off, and there's going to be at least a third of the company that gets fired. Generally speaking, every time you see somebody ring that bell on the stock market, that's what's happening. People are getting fired, and executives are getting paid off because they are selling their own company to a bunch of shareholders, and shareholders don't care about anything except for the return on investment, the ROI. So, one of the top shareholders, her name is Sherry Redstone, is a big Trump supporter, and she's got a lot of money invested in this, and she wants this merger to go through because she's going to get paid, son. There's definitely a fifth house in the works. It's a big old mansion, and she's eyeing one with one of those infinity pools out front, that overlooks an ocean, of course. So you got the ocean, and then you got your infinity pool, and then you got your big fucking McMansion that you're going to be spending, 40 million, 80 million. I don't even know what houses cost anymore, but one of those kind of people. This is a big fucking deal. This is a big merger. And here's the rub. You need the president's approval for that kind of thing. That kind of big merger. It isn't a couple of small little companies. We're talking about Skydance merging with Paramount, which I don't know what's going to keep the name, probably Skydance. But CBS has not been, one of those, 60 Minutes has not been one of those programs that have been, really gentle with Donald Trump. They have been responsible. I believe they came out with the first report that said that out of the 288 people that we have sent to the gulag in El Salvador, that 75% of those people had no criminal records. And they were the first to come, to bring that information to the public. Now, since it has gone up to 90% because they've done more investigating, but they have been doing the investigating of that. Nobody else was doing it. They were doing it. There was a couple other investigative journalists that were, searching for that information as well. But 60 Minutes, we're big on that. They also last year were talking about the war, the brutality that was going on in Gaza. Not a lot of other media companies were talking about it. Most people just want to kind of brush that shit under the rug, not really talk about it. They were one of the few that actually did a couple of shows on it. They weren't doing it every night, but they did a couple of shows of it. And this kind of thing is the stuff that Donald Trump does not like. He does not like it when media organizations actually do investigative journalism and let truth slip out, because there's only one truth, and that's Donald Trump's truth. It's his journey. It's his struggle. It's his Mein Kampf. I'm never going to lose that. I'm never going to, that one's going to stick, man. It's my truth, it's my struggle, it's my journey. It's my journey, folks. He doesn't like it, and it means that there's going to be a more difficult time for Sherry Redstone and the rest of the board of directors or whatever, whoever owns the most stock in Paramount. They want to make money. They need Donald Trump's approvals. They are basically telling 60 Minutes, Ixnay on the Aukente about the Azagay. You know what I'm saying? And no more talk about the the illegal kidnappings and deportations. Let President Trump, let him be Trump, man. He needs to spread his wings and fly. And you guys keep bringing up truth, and it's bringing him down, man. And we're not going to be able to do this merger if you guys keep this up. So they gave, I'm sure that somebody at Paramount, one of the higher ups at Paramount, gave Bill Owens a talking to, and he was just like, nah, man. Nah, I'm not going to do that. And even with that stiff talking to that he got and all of the, the ass kissing that they have done, Trump is still literally suing 60 Minutes for $10 billion. I mean, come on, man. What are you, Dr. Evil? For $10 billion. Honey, I don't even know if the fucking deal with Paramount and Skydance is $10 billion. It's probably more than that. But, he's suing them for $10 billion over an interview that they did with Kamala Harris, who he beat. He's president now. She lost. He won. I don't want to get into anything else about that. But, I mean, this is the world we're living in. Donald Trump is the president. He won. Kamala Harris is gone. She's yesterday's news. She's behind us. She's... who's Kamala Harris? Who knows? 60 Minutes did an interview with her where they apparently did some editing. Because who doesn't do editing? You don't just let out raw footage. Everybody edits. What are we talking about? But they said that they edited out an answer that made her seem like, that she was being dishonored, or that, it would have made her look really bad if you released the full footage. It doesn't matter. She lost. It's like Donald Trump suing that Iowa pollster that picked Kamala would win Iowa over Donald Trump, and he's literally suing her. He's like, what does it matter? You won. You fucking won. So they said something that you don't like. A pollster got it wrong, so now she's got to pay you. So now 60 Minutes has got to pay you $10 billion because they edited a video. Well, guess what? 60 Minutes actually released the raw footage, and she's basically saying exactly the same thing that she said in the edited version. It's just longer, and there's some more ums and pauses in it. So it was all absolute horseshit. And if there was not a merger going on, 60 Minutes would be like, yeah, take me to court. Let's see what happens. Because every normal brain judge that looked at this lawsuit, this frivolous $10 billion lawsuit, would have been like, bitch, get out of here. There's absolutely nothing here. They're allowed to edit. They're their own fucking company. Go fuck yourself. That's what the judge would have said to Donald Trump. But since there's a merger involved, there's got to be a lot of ass kissing going on. And yes, sir, and you should be quiet and let, just be nice to the president, please. There's so many billions of dollars on the line here. Please don't fuck this up. We are dealing with a fucking toddler. he is ruling us by fascistic fiat. And we have got to walk around on eggshells because this baby gets his fee-fees hurt. If you tell him, no, Mr. President, that picture said, that had MS-13, that was Photoshop. People were putting that on there saying that that marijuana leaf was a representation of him. And that, whatever the fuck it was, I can't remember. It was like a skull and there was like a cross, and they were saying that this is MS-13. Have you ever seen an MS-13 tattoo? They're not subtle. I've seen pictures of the MS-13 tattoo. You know what it says? Fucking MS-13 right on their face. They don't fake the funk. You ain't got to Photoshop a picture of an MS-13 guy. He wears it on his face, on his neck, on his chest. He's all about the MS-13. This guy is not MS-13. MS-13 is an American invention. It came about in our prison system. MS-13. But we have a Fox News grandpa that either is lying to himself, lying to everybody else, or is just so epically stupid that he's the kind of guy that sees a picture of himself, his head on top of Rocky Balboa's body and go, yeah, that's about right. That's what I look like. Dude has no object permanence, has no fucking idea how he thinks he is perceived like a fucking god, like a deity. And in his defense, there are plenty of people that worship him and follow him around like he's got rainbows and candy bars shooting out of his ass. So it is a real thing to see so many people worshiping him and watching all the people in the cabinet kiss his ass and praise him. Mr. President, your dick is so big and your shoulders are so broad and you're such a man. And thank you, Daddy, for coming and taking back America and saving us from our weak little selves and our awful cucked little Democrats. Fuck you. Oh my God. A toddler. Anyway, Bill Owens stepped down. Scott Pelley actually said all this. Well, not everything I said there. A couple of those things. Those came out of my brains. Folks. They come out of my brains. I don't even know what I'm saying half the time. But Bill Owens steps down, and Scott Pelley talks about it on the news. And it is kind of like a shots fired kind of thing. Because this is the kind of stuff that, how like your mom and dad used to teach you, don't air dirty laundry. Well, this is absolutely dirty laundry. And Scott Pelley was just like, no. Bill Owens was a friend of mine. I looked up to him. He was a good guy. He was a good journalist. He believed in looking and finding the truth. And there's no way in hell I'm going to let him leave without the truth being known. So good on you, Bill Owens. I hope that Sherry Redstone and Larry Ellison that owns Skydance, big old tech billionaire Larry Ellison, because, everything that's for sale these days that costs unbelievable amounts of money, they're all getting bought by some tech billionaire because those are the only people with money. That's the only thing we're funding. We're not funding infrastructure. We're funding tech bros. All of these people that would get their ass kicked in high school for doing some fucking weird ass freaky shit. Or just guys that just couldn't get a girlfriend or were too scared to talk to a girlfriend because they didn't learn any social graces. And now they're the ones trying to teach us how to, talk to my AI and then you could talk to a girl afterwards. We've given them all the money. We've given them all the power. Oh, God, man, we are so lost. Jesus Christ. Anyway, I just wanted to get that story out, and kudos to Scott Pelley. And, although I wish that Bill Owens would stay and fight and be subversive, I don't know his situation. Maybe he knows that his hands are tied and he'll never be able to do another story that he wants to anyway. And what's the point of being in a news organization if you can't investigate the powers that be? News is the journalists are supposed to, what is the expression? It's a good expression. Journalists are supposed to comfort the afflicted and to afflict the comfortable. And we are looking at a lot of really wealthy, comfortable people that just don't want to be afflicted anymore. And, if it's going to get in the way of the almighty dollar and my big fat merger, then I guess we're just going to have to let truth go down the toilet. One of Donald Trump's Superflow gold toilets. You flush it once and it all goes down the drain. Just like our First Amendment, just like the economy. Just like America, baby, with an American flag. Thank you very much. 4 more years, 2028, anybody? Anyway, that's the show for today. I hope you guys liked some of the stories that I told you today. There's no way you liked any of the stories. They're all bad. They're all terrible. But hopefully I told them to you in a way that was just a little bit easier to swallow. And maybe if you run into your own particular Fox News grandpa in one of your next visits to see him, maybe you will be armed with a little bit more information to go, hey, but what about this? Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will catch you next time. Thanks so much. Oh, by the way, like and subscribe. It really helps me out. It would mean the world to me. And I would love you forever and ever. Amen. Have a wonderful day. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, please like and subscribe. Keep rocking.